April 6, 1917. The United States declares war on Germany. For 3 years, America watched Europe destroy itself. Millions dead. Trench warfare. Poison gas. Machine guns mowing down entire battalions. An entire generation wiped out. And America stayed out of it. President Woodrow Wilson campaigned on, "He kept us out of war." Then, 5 months after winning re-election, he asked Congress to declare war. What changed? Germany started sinking American ships. The Zimmermann telegram revealed Germany was trying to get Mexico to invade the United States. And American banks had loaned billions to Britain and France if they lost the US. Economy would collapse. America fought for only 19 months. But those 19 months changed everything. 116,516 Americans died. For empires collapsed. And the peace treaty was so harsh it guaranteed World War II 20 years later. This is World War I, the war that was supposed to end all wars. Didn't. It just made the next one inevitable. World War I started in June 1914 when a Serbian nationalist assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary. Within weeks, Europe exploded. On one side, Allied powers Britain, France, Russia. On the other, Central powers Germany, Austria-Hungary, Ottoman Empire. It was supposed to be over by Christmas 1914. It lasted 4 years and killed over 10 million soldiers. The Western Front became a 400-mile line of trenches from Belgium to Switzerland. Soldiers lived in mud, fought over yards of ground, and died by the thousands for nothing. New weapons made it hell. Machine guns fired 600 rounds per minute. Charging equals suicide. Poison gas, chlorine, mustard gas, choked and burned soldiers alive. Artillery rained down shells constantly. Soldiers called it shell shock. We call it PTSD. Tanks and airplanes were introduced, slow and unreliable, but the future of warfare. By 1917, France had lost 1.4 million men. Germany lost 2 million. Britain lost 900,000. Russia lost 1.8 million. And America wanted nothing to do with it. President Woodrow Wilson declared neutrality in 1914. Most Americans didn't care. Europe's war wasn't our problem. Then Germany made it our problem. May 7, 1915. A German U-boat torpedoed the British passenger ship RMS Lusitania. 1,198 people died, including 128 Americans. Wilson demanded Germany stop unrestricted submarine warfare. Germany backed down temporarily. But by 1917, Germany was desperate. The British naval blockade was starving them. Germany resumed sinking any ship heading to Britain, knowing it would bring America into the war. Then came the Zimmermann telegram. British intelligence intercepted a secret message from Germany to Mexico. If the US enters the war, attack them. We'll help you reclaim Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. When American newspapers published it, the country exploded in rage. Add to that, American banks had loaned over $2 billion to the Allies. If they lost, America's economy would collapse. Wilson had no choice. On April 2, 1917, he asked Congress to declare war. His justification: the world must be made safe for democracy. April 6, 1917, America was at war. America wasn't ready. In 1917, the U.S. Army had 127,000 soldiers. France had 8 million. Germany had 11 million. Congress passed the draft in May 1917. By war's end, 4.7 million Americans served, 2.8 million drafted, 2 million volunteers. General John J. Pershing led the American Expeditionary Forces, AEF. They arrived in France in June 1917 but didn't fight immediately. Pershing insisted American troops fight as a unified force under American command, not scattered among Allied units. Meanwhile, things got worse for the Allies. March 1918, Russia collapsed. The Bolshevik Revolution pulled Russia out of the war. Germany moved millions of troops from the Eastern Front to the west. Germany launched a massive spring offensive in 1918. They broke through Allied lines and pushed toward Paris. For the first time since 1914, it looked like Germany might win. That's when America arrived in force. By mid-1918, 10,000 American troops arrived in France every day. Fresh, eager, undamaged by years of trench warfare. Major American battles. Battle of Belleau Wood, June 1918, U.S. Marines fought Germans in brutal close combat. 50% casualties, but they held. A Marine sergeant reportedly said, "Come on, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever?" They became legends. Second Battle of the Marne, July 1918. Germany's last major offensive. American and French forces stopped them. The turning point. Germany would never advance again. Meuse-Argonne Offensive, September-November 1918. The largest American operation. 1.2 million U.S. troops attacked German lines. 26,000 Americans died. But it broke Germany. By fall 1918, Germany was collapsing. The spring offensive had failed. American troops kept coming. The German Navy mutinied. Soldiers deserted. The government fell apart. November 11th, 1918, 11 a.m. The guns went silent. The Armistice was signed. World War I was over. World War I was the deadliest conflict in history up to that point. Total deaths: 17 to 20 million people. 10 million soldiers, 7 to 10 million civilians. American casualties: 116,516 total deaths, 53,402 combat deaths, 63,114 deaths from disease, mostly Spanish flu. America fought for only 19 months, but those 116,000 deaths devastated families and towns across the country. In January 1919, world leaders met in Paris to negotiate peace. The Treaty of Versailles would reshape Europe and guarantee another war. President Woodrow Wilson wanted lasting peace. He proposed the League of Nations, an international organization to prevent future wars. He called World War I the war to end all wars. But Britain and France wanted revenge. The Treaty of Versailles, June 28, 1919, crushed Germany. Accept full blame for the war guilt clause. Pay $33 billion in reparations, equal to $500 billion today. Lose 13% of territory, reduce military to 100,000 soldiers. No tanks, no air force, no submarines. Lose all colonies. 4 empires collapsed. German Empire, Weimar Republic, weak, unstable. Austro-Hungarian Empire broken into Austria, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia. Ottoman Empire, Turkey, lost. Middle East to Britain/France, Russian Empire, Soviet Union. New countries created: Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. The Middle East was carved up. Britain and France divided former Ottoman lands. They created Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, artificial borders that ignored ethnic and religious divisions. These borders are still causing wars today. Germany was humiliated. The treaty didn't just defeat Germany, it destroyed it economically and psychologically. Germans felt betrayed. This resentment would fuel Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. French Marshal Ferdinand Foch saw the danger immediately. He said, "This is not a peace. It is an armistice for 20 years." He was right. World War II started in 1939, exactly 20 years later. The war that didn't end war, World War I, was supposed to end all wars. Instead, it guaranteed the next one. The Treaty of Versailles was so harsh it made another conflict inevitable. Germany's economy collapsed. Hyperinflation destroyed the middle class. Unemployment skyrocketed. In that desperation, Germans turned to Adolf Hitler, who promised to restore Germany's pride and overturn Versailles. 6 years after Hitler came to power, World War II began. What World War I actually did: introduced total war, entire economies mobilized for killing, normalized chemical weapons, collapsed empires, and created unstable states, still causing conflicts. rose totalitarianism, communism in Russia, fascism in Italy, Nazism in Germany proved modern war wasn't about glory. It was industrial-scale slaughter. America learned it couldn't stay isolated. When Europe goes to war, the world goes to war. And whether we liked it or not, America was now responsible for keeping peace. Woodrow Wilson died in 1924, broken. His League of Nations failed. The peace he fought for lasted 20 years. But his vision, international cooperation to prevent war, would be tried again. In 1945, after an even deadlier war, the United Nations was created. This time, America joined. World War I killed 20 million people. It introduced chemical weapons, traumatized an entire generation, and set the stage for World War II, which killed 80 million more. 116,516 Americans died in World War I. They were told they were fighting the war to end all wars. They were lied to. 20 years later, their sons had to fight again. Part 7 covers World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history. Subscribe so you don't miss it, because the story of American wars doesn't get easier from here. It gets worse.